Well, hey, so my name is Carrie,
And I'm Lisa.
and this is Prophecy, Montana. Anyways, we thought we'd run you around in the garden a little bit this morning, and we're just getting started on our planting this year. And what are you planting right there, Lisa?
This one is a Napa cabbage, but it's been in a container so long that it's already blooming.
Yeah. And if you've been watching some of my previous videos, I talk about the importance of getting out in the country and growing gardens. And so we're just going to kind of show you how we do things around here. So one of our crops, one of our best crops, is potatoes and onions. And I'm getting ready to plant some potatoes right here. You know, last year I think we had, I don't know, how many pounds did we have last year, Lisa?
I want to say about 350 pounds.
She says 350. I think it was probably a little more.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, maybe not. It was a lot of potatoes. We're still eating them. Anyway, so this is how we do it. These lines here, they have drip emitters every, oh, I don't know, 8 or 10 inches or so. And I find it easiest just to lay the lines out, and then I pin them in with I got these little wire stakes that I pin the ends of the line in. That not only gives me my straight lines, but I just put the potato every emitter. It gives me my spacing too. Okay, so I just make these little wire hoops, and that's what I kind of pin the ends down. I got my nice straight lines. Okay, so we'll start out with these right here. Obviously, I'm trying to be a little bit careful of these little chits, and well, let's get them in the ground.
That goes over there, right?
What you got there, my dear?
Onions. Last year's onions that are screaming to be placed into the ground.
Now, why would you plant last year's onions?
These ones will bulb. They will be an onion, but they will bulb and they will have lots of seeds so that we can keep our heirloom seeds.
Yeah, so they flower and they seed.
So they flower and they seed.
Yeah, so you always want to keep last year's onions, a couple of them at least, right?
Yeah.
And then you can plant some seeds and you can plant some bulbs. I think everybody knows how to plant a potato. We just sort of unceremoniously. Now I try to put them on these emitters. And we're going to come back and cover these with straw after the fact. And found that works pretty good. And
I'm thinking. My mom told me once.
here we have some carrot seed. And you know, the way you can grow carrot seed is you pull the carrot in the fall and you keep it in your cellar over the winter. Come spring, you put that carrot right back in the ground, and it'll grow and flower, and you'll get these little flowers, and they'll just be full of seeds. And as you can see, we got quite a few of them here. Well, let's get them planted. that's how it's done. And got plenty left over. You always want to have enough seeds left over in case you have a failed crop. And that's a pretty good farmer wisdom. What you got going there?
I'm planting Swiss chard because I eat it all summer. And I'm also gonna plant some beets. Last year, I thought I put too many things in the freezer, storing things, you know, and I ate all the beets and didn't even realize it. And I ate all the carrots too. And they must have been about a year or two old, but I ate them and they were just wonderful. I put them in soup. I made would make my little vegetable soup, you know, and I'd add them.
So you know, last couple years I've taken a way different approach on how I've been preparing my soil. You know, in times past I've always kind of fed my plants, and you know, after some research and everything, I learned that, you know, feeding your plants is not necessarily the best way to do it. And that sounds a little counterintuitive, but what you really want to do is feed your soil. And like, so for instance, you know, we've got I bet I wouldn't have to dig long and I'd run across a nice earthworm here. Okay, so just right below the surface here, I've got a lot of earthworms, and that's a really good sign. That means that they've got plenty to eat, and they're smaller earthworms, so they're little babies, and that means they're doing really well. Anyways, these earthworms produce really high quality fertilizers that's hard to beat. So make sure you got a lot of organic material in your soil, and make sure you have a lot of organic material in your soil, and you'll have lots of earthworms, and you'll also have lots of good fertilizer. Very good for your plants. If you notice, there's a lot of organic matter in there too, see? Anyways, you can see here how efficient that is to water everything with the drip lines. And you know, over here we had gotten almost all the straw in. We've got potatoes and onions here, and the wife planted the veggies and things like carrots and broccoli and stuff like that over there, Swiss chard. So yeah, it makes caring for the garden quite a bit easier, and the layout as well. So then we got our sprinklers going for our carrots. Usually try to put the carrots on sprinklers, and we've yet to water that out there. But she's got Swiss chard, and I guess these are garlic over here, and yeah, cabbage, broccoli, different types of things like that. And she's planted some seeds in here as well. Yeah, you know, and the other thing is, one thing about those carrots, you know, when they start coming up, they'll get real dense in there. And I've always kind of found out that, you know, planting them really close together like that doesn't seem to hurt them, you know. They're actually just like all lumped together, but makes for a nice, dense, good crop. But I usually fertilize it good, and I'll put some barnyard or whatever on it. I think last year we did goat manure, and this year we're doing horse. But and then of course we always have our compost going, so it's a year-round project to kind of maintain the garden. But you know, the important thing is not to get discouraged. You know, we didn't start out with very good soil here, and it was, you know, we worked at it, and we had to dig down. And you know, in the beginning I was digging with a, I guess you call it what, a garden fork. We got a garden fork here, and I would just, you know, to dig the ground, I would stick it in and I'd get it down in there deep and turn the soil, and we kind of, in some ways we lucked out, because we had a real heavy clay on top, and then underneath there's like some sandy type loamy soil. And so I dug down far enough to get down into the loam, kind of mixed it all together, put some barnyard in it, and we had to import some worms because I really didn't see many worms out here. I didn't see any actually. I mean, there might have been worms, but I didn't see any. And so we brought some worms in, just bought some fishing worms, little red ones and some big night crawlers. And so we planted them out here and they flourished. And we just make sure our worms have plenty of food. And one of the things I read about, and it's supposed to be true, I don't know, I'm no expert at gardening, but you know, I do a lot of YouTubing and studying and whatever, and there's so much information out there, you can learn almost anything. But I learned that you put cellulose down, you know, like wood chips and things of that nature. And you know, when the worms eat it, you know, they make a perfect culture for fungus, and that fungus is very beneficial to the roots and the ability for the plants to absorb nutrients and stuff like that. So, and the other thing we've done on this garden too is we got some rock dust. We had some granite dust. We went to our granite countertop, local granite countertop place, and they filled us up with buckets of granite dust, and so we sprinkled some of that. I didn't do the whole garden, but I don't know if that helps or not. But you know, a lot of people say rock dust is very beneficial. You can get some like azomite and different materials. But so what all will get planted today, Lisa?
We got carrots, cabbage, two different kinds of cabbage, Swiss chard, kale, garlic, 2 tomatillas, and then I've got some giant dill, and then I have beets, lots of beets.
She loves beets.
And I broccoli, by the way, I got broccoli in there.
Beets are super good for you, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what about kale? Did we get any kale in the ground?
Yeah, I just said kale.
Oh, you did?
Kale and Swiss chard. And,
oh, I'm a poor listener.
And just a regular green kale. It wasn't nothing fancy. It wasn't, just because it's still cold here, so.
Yeah, yeah. So we usually plant, you know, if you guys are watch our channel, we live in Montana, obviously, Prophecy, Montana.
Mm-hmm.
That would be kind of silly to call it anything else. We live somewhere else. But so we're kind of like Midwest. So we plant. The rule of the rule of thumb for our area is the 3rd week of May.
Mm-hmm.
And what's today? The 21st, 22nd?
Yeah,
like
something like that. And also get seeds that'll grow in your region. You know.
That's very important. Yeah. So if you live in a warmer region, obviously you can grow things that we can't. Like
watermelons,
yeah,
cantaloupe, all those yummy things.
Yeah, all the melons. Well, I guess we can grow melons here, but they'd have to be a certain type.
I got cucumbers.
Yeah.
In there.
So. We've had luck with cucumbers and squash and different things.
Yeah.
We've had really good luck with potatoes. They grow outstanding here. Tomatoes grow really great.
Potatoes and onions grow really good, and any like Brussels sprouts, and then I guess asparagus is natural.
Yeah.
It grows here naturally.
It grows wild, so we need to get some of that and get that going somewhere. Find a little spot for that. And but you know, just you know, we're putting this on here to encourage every one of you guys out there to get out there and start gardening. And you know, we're not experts. We just got out there and got our hands dirty, and we research it, and we have failures, right?
Yeah.
And
like I planted romaine tomatoes, and they ended up being cabbage. The package said romaine tomatoes, but what I grew was
cabbage.
Red cabbage.
It was cabbage. Actually, take a look at it. That's pretty funny. That's our romaine tomatoes. Yep, that's a cabbage if I've ever seen one. So pretty funny stuff. So we don't have any tomatoes this year, planted early, but we always have volunteers coming up because and that's the other thing. No matter what, we buy heirloom seeds, no matter what. And I think it's very important. So we have tomatoes that voluntarily just pop up all over our garden every single year, every single time.
Yeah, but This time we'll have to buy a couple.
We might have to buy a couple if we want some earlier. If we want to get some early.
Now we do have a greenhouse we're building, so.
Yeah, and maybe we'll do a little segment on that one of these days. But
Mhm.
but anyways, hey, thanks for watching, and
Thank you.
you can really support us by giving us a thumbs up and subscribing.
Mhm.
And yeah, you guys have a blessed Sabbath, and we'll see you next time.